Over the last months, I've been doing so much research within regards to XRP, Ripple, the lawsuit between the SEC and Ripple, and even the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler. So a couple days ago, as I was doing my daily research, I stumbled upon a video that truly shocked me. This was because this video was not seen before. Nobody was talking about it on Twitter, nobody was talking about it on Instagram or YouTube or any social media platform, yet this video was so much of a deal breaker for me because it proved that the feds really wanted XRP. And to be honest, guys, when you guys see it, I guarantee you guys are going to think the same way. Now, let's take a couple steps back. A couple days ago, I released a video talking about how one of the world's biggest financial institution, the Rothschild & Co. Foundation, was actually going to be using XRP for their international grade transactions. Now, they didn't say all of it. They said a portion of their international trades would actually take place using XRP, which is a major deal. Now, I do want to mention though that they didn't give a specific date, but what I do believe is it's going to happen in the next couple months or so. Now, as I was searching for Gary Gensler and any news about him, this is the article that I found. It says SEC staffers fuming over Gensler's self-promotion on the Kardashian case. And the first thing that came to mind was a flashback of what happened at the beginning of the lawsuit, where I remember and recall a lot of SEC staff members come out and resign or say they're against this lawsuit and they don't agree with the SEC versus Ripple case because Ripple was in the right and the SEC is just blatantly suing them. And this is when I stumbled upon this article right here as well. So in this article, it says Chairman Gensler's actions on crypto climate disclosure rules call into question whether the SEC is appropriately carrying out its mission. And if you don't know who's actually speaking and who's saying that, it is actually a senator, a United States senator. And this is actually Patrick Joseph Toomey Jr. He's an American businessman, politician, and he's serving as the junior United States senator for Pennsylvania since 2011. Now that I've told you a backstory of how I found this information, you guys have already subscribed to the channel. If you didn't subscribe, I'll give you a quick second. Subscribe. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys also have smashed the like button, so do that. Let's go into the clip.
Let me turn to cryptocurrency, which together with the blockchain technologies, this is a very, very important and very promising new technology. As you know, cryptocurrencies are actively traded on many platforms. A really important question is whether a cryptocurrency is a security for regulatory purposes under the Howey or some other test. Now, based on your public statements, it's pretty clear that you believe that some are securities, but others are not. So I'm frustrated by the lack of helpful SEC public guidance explaining how you make this distinction. What makes some of them securities while others are not securities? Now, I understand that the SEC staff will privately provide feedback and analysis on whether a cryptocurrency is a security, but why is this analysis private? Why not publicly announce what characteristics make a cryptocurrency a security or not a security? In other words, how do you apply Howey and the Reeves tests to these new products? Why wait to make the SEC's views known only when it swoops in with an enforcement action, in some cases years after the product was launched? This is regulation by enforcement, and it's very objectionable. And I'm concerned it can stifle domestic innovation. So, Mr. Chairman, I hope we'll get a better understanding of your views on these and a number of other issues. There are many things on which you and I agree and where we could work together to protect investors, to ensure fair, orderly, efficient markets, and facilitate capital formation. I hope we can work together on these really important parts of the SEC's mission. One area that appears to have nearly universal agreement is the benefit of a faster settlement cycle for equity securities. As you know, market participants seem to be confident in a T+1. My understanding is that you support these efforts. I appreciate that. I would just encourage the SEC to move ahead as quickly as reasonably possible so that that can proceed. I also think there's widespread support for fixing the money market fund rule by removing the link between the 30% weekly average liquidity and the possibility of imposing fees and gates. You and I have discussed this. I don't think there's a need for regulatory reforms that would eliminate or reduce the viability of money market funds as an investment, but improving this regulation would reduce the risk that I think the regulatory regime imposes now. I am concerned about the SEC not adequately fulfilling its capital formation mission. Last year's appropriation law instructed the SEC to deliver 2 reports to Congress by the end of June, which would help benefit small public companies. These reports are now past due. I certainly hope the SEC will submit those reports promptly. And you testified to the House that the SEC would have a report on GameStop and Robinhood by this summer. That report has not been produced yet. We got a week left in the summer. I do certainly hope that we will see it soon. Now let me turn to cryptocurrencies. And my time is limited, so I'm going to try to do this as efficiently as I can, Mr. Chairman. But I think I know your position, among other things, is that not all cryptocurrencies are inherently securities, right? That's true.
There are a small number that aren't, but I think that, as Chair Clayton said when he was in front of Congress, I think very many of these facts and circumstances are investment contracts.
So here's my concern. So some are and some aren't is basically what you're saying. And I'm concerned that the SEC has not provided sufficient definition and explained how it would apply the Howey test, which I think is the court standard for determining when something is an investment contract. So for instance, stablecoins do not have an inherent expectation of profit. They're just linked to the dollar. Now you might use them in an attempt to make a profit, but that's a second order activity. Is it your view that stable coins themselves can be securities?
I think that, Senator, they may well be securities. As Thurgood Marshall wrote in the Reeves opinion, in defining the scope of the market that Congress, wished to regulate, Congress painted a broad brush, and it actually included about 35 different things inside the definition of a security in the 33 Act.
I've just got limited time here, so I acknowledge that. Here's my problem, though. I think what you just said was that they may be securities, or that some are securities. To me, a stablecoin doesn't meet the second prong of the Howey test, that there has to be an expectation of profits from the investment. And so if it doesn't meet the Howey test, it looks to me like it's not a security. Now, maybe you've got a good argument for why some are and some aren't. My whole point is, I think we need to have clarity on this. I think you should publicly disclose this. Apparently, there are private conversations where you work with people who are proposing particular structures and you give them advice, or your staff gives them advice. I just think we ought to have that publicly, and we certainly shouldn't be taking enforcement action against somebody without having first provided that clarity.
Well, Senator, this Congress could change the laws, but the laws that we have right now have a very broad definition of security, including a note, including an investment contract and the like. And my predecessor, Chair Clayton, and others actually put out a lot of guidance with regard to the Howey.
I just got to push back a little bit on that. It is broad, but it's well defined. There is a very specific litany of the instruments that constitute securities. As you know this better than I do. Investment contract is one of them. And there is a court decision that lays out the prongs for what constitutes an investment contract. I'm just saying, as a layman who can read English, when I read those tests, stable coins don't seem to meet that test to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but if I can misinterpret this, I think others could too, and some clarity, public clarity, I think would be helpful.
I see the red light, but I agree with you that some of these tokens have been deemed to be commodities. Many of them are securities, and the Supreme Court has weighed in a number of times. You noted the Howey test. We've talked about the Reeves test was in the 1990s as well, has weighed in, and I think that there's a fair amount of clarity. Over the years, the SEC has even found, believe it or not, whiskey caskets, and the courts agreed in the 1960s were investments. And I think that at the heart of our securities laws was protecting investors against fraud. They get to decide. They get to take the risk. You'll find I'm not I'm not negative or a minimalist about crypto. I just think it would be best if it's inside the investor protection regime that Congress laid out.
There's lots of information in the video you just watched, and I'm probably going to make another video talking about a different portion of this video that I really want to focus on, but let's talk about what we are discussing in this video. In this video, specifically at the beginning part of the clip that you guys just seen, the Congress / the senators were telling Gary Gensler, listen up, dude, you are a politician that we feel is using the SEC chairman role for personal gain. You've been going into multiple lawsuits that we feel are going to just lose. You're going to make us look bad. We are doing everything we can to try and help you out, but the catch is that you're not listening, and so we're going to be forced to either find a way to impeach you or stand against you because what you're doing is completely wrong. And to me, this is great news because after a very long couple of months of Chair Gensler, or maybe now it's been a year, I can't even recall, but after a very long time of Chair Gensler holding his position as chairman, he has done nothing except cause disruption and make retail investors lose money. And the fact that now the globe is starting to notice it, and I think the United States, Congress knows what they're doing, because we're talking about the new digital coin that's coming out, and there's been almost proven facts that it's planned to be an XRP release where they're going to be using XRP to kind of use for their digital currency, for the US digital currency. So they need to end this lawsuit as quick as possible. So this is their way of telling Gensler, listen up, dude, you have a short timeline. You find a way to either settle this lawsuit, like he said at the end. If you guys heard it clear, guys, he mentioned a part where he said, we think the SEC should settle. He didn't mention XRP specific, but that was his hint. He was saying that, the SEC has been going into lawsuits that we believe doesn't make any sense. It is something that they have no regulation over. They're not supposed to be in that jurisdiction, yet they're still going ahead and suing people. We believe either there should be some sort of solution that the SEC should do. They should either find a way to settle or get this situation resolved as soon as they can. And I want to end off this video by saying that this is extremely positive for the XRP community. And in fact, it is more positive for the crypto community entirely, especially because this Ripple versus C lawsuit is bigger than just XRP. It is going to be the base of any crypto lawsuit at the end of the day here. So whether you're an XRP supporter, a Bitcoin supporter, ADA, any coin, if you are in cryptocurrency in any way, shape, or form, staking, you're a retail investor, you're a whale investor, you guys should be rooting for Ripple in this case. That I want to end off the video like this, where I tell you guys, I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you guys did learn something. I'm dedicating so much time to doing research for you guys. I'm enjoying it, to be honest, but it would be greatly appreciated if you could just subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to try and release as much as I can in the most factually based information that is exciting, because at the end of the day, we are all in it to win it, and that's what I'm showcasing to you guys. I'm showcasing you guys the route that we as XRP investors and as crypto investors in general are taking. This is what's going on with XRP. This is the facts that there is for XRP behind the research. So I'm hyped. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.